Okay, we're picking up again where we left off. This is video 12. We just made video 11. Okay, anyways. So comparative anatomy, that's looking at creatures. The homologous structures, those are structures which are passed on common ancestry, and they look similar. They could develop differently. That doesn't mean that bat and a bird are directly related because they both have wings. They just have similar structures. Vestigial organs are organs that are perhaps being phased out as evolution goes. They may still be there because we have genes that code for them, but we don't use those organs anymore. They're kind of leftovers or remnants. We have comparative embryology. You can look at a chicken, a bird, a mouse, a turtle, a human being, and you look at the early stages of the embryonic development, and they look very similar. We even have gills early on in our development from the zygote on. That common embryonic development is just something that shows that our genes or our lineage or our common ancestry, the same coded sequences take place, but we do have a differentiation that takes place, and we have other genes that kick on and we become us, and the fish, the turtle, the bird, they all become them. So we can also use our fossil record through geologic studies. We find fossils, and we usually talk about the layers of strata. The farther down you go, the older things are. So if you were to find, let's just say, this little thing there, and then up here you find something kind of similar, but now it takes a little bit different shape. What we would say is that this structure here is the older structure, and this is the newer structure because of the stratification of sediment over time. The deeper down, the older. We do have geologic processes that will uplift and fold and change and invert things, and we can talk about that a little bit later. And then our biogeography. Biogeography is it's talking about the way things are distributed, like the way species are found around the world. We can do this on the global scale. We can actually do it within microclimates as well. It's pretty neat. You can look at a picture of the Earth, and that's going from let's say the northern hemisphere all the way down to the equator, and you can send a very similar analogy to the base of a mountain all the way up to the top of a mountain, and the equator would be the base of the mountain, and the top of the mountain would be the North Pole, let's say. And you'd see that animals are usually set out due to the ecosystem, the environmental conditions. And so if you're in a place that snows most of the year, you don't have tree growth, then you would have adaptations to deal with snow and no trees. If you were in a desert environment and you didn't have water, you would adapt to that. If you were in a rainforest, you'd be adapted to that. And so similar to that, as you go up the sides of a mountain, there's a correlation between latitude and elevation, and we'll talk about that. I'll give you examples of that in a little bit. I think it's pretty cool stuff. So anyways, biogeography is just distribution of species throughout the environments they're in. Okay, so here's our comparative anatomy. We can talk about the comparison of different body structures of different species. Anatomical similarities will give signs of common descent of the species related through evolution. So the more similar these are, the more closely related to species must have been in evolution. There are exceptions to this for sure, but if you look at these elephants, the basic morphological structure, they're similar. I mean, you wouldn't look at an elephant and then look at a giraffe, even though they're large creatures, and say, oh, those two are very closely related. But when you look at animals that are similar in their morphological shape, there's a lot of times there's a direct correlation through ancestry. Okay, we're coming up to stuff. This is just stuff I've always enjoyed talking about. These are homologous structures, and so it's pretty astonishing when you look at these in detail. So Darwin noticed animals had similar body plans. That's also something we can call a bow plan. Okay, so body plans, that's also from another German word, Bauplan, which means ground plan, essentially. You'll see there are only so many morphological shapes. I'll give you an example now. Okay, so our body plan, you'll see I have a triangle here with a little line. Well, we'll pick this up next video.